My name is Kainton the Genius, and today I'm going to be talking about indexing matrices and datasets. And this is very important. And this is lesson 3 of our tutorial. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. So if you subscribe to my channel, it kind of motivates me to continue making these lessons, and it also makes sure that you don't miss an update. So just click on the subscribe button below this video. Alright, so let's go ahead to get started. Also, feel free to visit my website, kaintonthegenius.com. So let's stop this. Okay, so this is where we are in the IDE. So the first thing we want to do, we are going to create a matrix A, matrix. Let it be a 4x4 matrix, and it's going to take numbers from 1 to 16, and it's going to be a 4x4. So the data set actually should be from 1 to 16 like this. Alright, so we've created this matrix A. I'm going to just display it so that you see exactly how it looks like. So now we are talking about indexing matrices. So what do? We index by taking a subset of this matrix. Take for instance, we have something like A 2, 2, 3 means that we are taking the second row and the third column. The second row, this row 2, as you can see here, and the third column. So that is going to give us 10. So if I check it, we can see it gives us 10. Alright, so we can also take a subset of matrix A. Let's say we want to take a matrix made up of row 1 and 2. So we can just say, let's say we have a matrix B made up of just row 1 and row 2 with all the columns. So to do that, you simply say A, the data is going to be row 1 and 2. So row 1 and row 2, row 1 and row 2, and this time all the columns. So specify B is equal to A. Let's see. Okay, so actually I mixed up the syntax. So it's actually going to be a square brace. Now I'm not sure how. Yeah, let's see if I got it, because this can be a bit confusing sometimes. Okay, what do we have here? We have, it takes only row 1 and row 2. How? Because we specify the data set or the data to be only row 1 and row 2. So we have a set made up of row 1 and row 2 of A and comma. We are taking all the columns because we've not specified any column. Alright, let's create a matrix C made up of this time row 3 and row 4. Or let's say row 2 and row 3. So to do that, let's say we have a matrix C made up of, what am I doing? So matrix C, let's say it's made up of row 3 and row 4, and row 4 of A. So if I check what C is, you can see it's made up of row 3 and row 4. How about if we try to create a matrix made up of columns 1 and column 2? How do we do this? Let's say that matrix is D, is taking matrix A, and this time we don't have to specify the row, we're only specifying the columns to be column 3 and column 4. So D, you can see, is made up of columns 3 and column 4. But now let's say we want to create a matrix made up of row 3 and 4 of column 1 and 2, right? So row 3 and 4 of column 1 and 2. I think it's easy to understand. Row 3 and 4 of columns 1 and 2. So we are talking about this column 1 and column 2, but we need only rows 3 and 4. So again, you can also do that. So let's say that matrix is E. E is equal to matrix A. This time we are talking about the rows should be row 1 and 2 of columns 3 and 4. So this is how to specify columns 3. So it's going to give us a 2 by 2 matrix, and let's see. So you can see 9, 13, 10, 14. We're saying rows 3 and 4 of columns 1 and 2. So it can be a bit confusing. Row 1 and 2 of column 3 and 4. This is column 3 and 4. We are taking rows 1 and row 2. What else is there? Okay, let's create a matrix made up of numbers from 1 to 5, and then it's made up of let's say we have matrix. So we have matrix A. F is equal to matrix A. This time we are taking the first 3 rows. The first 3 rows can just specify the first 3 rows, that's all, and we are taking all the columns, right? So we are taking the first 3 rows and we are taking all the columns. So you can see that F takes the first 3 rows and we take all the columns. Let's say we want to take the last 3 columns of matrix A. So at this point we are talking about the last 3 columns. Now this column, column 2, column 3, and column 4. So to do that, I'm going to say at this point, I'm going to just clear my screen and also display matrix A. Okay, these are matrix A. So we are talking about taking the last 3 columns. How do we do this? Let's say we have matrix G is equal to A. The last 3 columns, now we are not specifying any row, so we say comma, and the data set is going to be, the last 3 columns will be columns 1 to 3 of matrix A. So G is going to give us, so what did we do? We specified columns 1 to 3, yeah, column 1 to 3. But if we wanted to say column 2, 3, and 4, yeah, column 2 to 4. So 2 to 4 is also going to give us columns 2 to 4. What is also there to learn is that you can also use negative. So use of negative sign tells R to keep all rows or columns except those indicated in the index. So let's say we have a matrix H is equal to A. This time we want to say minus columns 1, minus columns 1, right? Minus column 1 to minus column 1 and 2, and then all the rows. So this is kind of a bit confusing. So what are we saying? We are saying that we are taking this matrix, but we are specifying, actually this is minus rows 1 and 2, right? And then we are taking all the columns. So at this point, what is going to happen is we will not have row 1 and 2. We are only taking rows, rows 3 and 4. So let's see. We are taking rows 3 and 4. So we can see we have only rows 3 and 4. So minus tells R to exclude the row or the column specified. So let's say at this point we want to exclude column 4. We want to only take columns 1 to 3 of all the rows. So we can say matrix I is equal to A, and now we are taking all the, what did we say? We are excluding column 4. So it means we take all the rows and all the columns excluding column 4. So all the rows and all the columns excluding column 4. I think I should have it, column 4. So let's see, I exclude column 4. Yeah, I think we got it. So we have excluded column 4. So in this place we specify the nothing, so it means all the rows, and now we exclude column 4. All right, let's now talk about another thing. How do you get the dimension of your data set? Let's say you have a data set but you don't know the dimension. You can also use the dimension to find it. So now we can check what is dimension. Say, what is this? So dimension retrieves or set the dimension of an object, right? So the dimension simply means how many rows and how many columns. So if I say dimension of matrix A is going to give us 4 by 4. So I can also be intuitive about it and say dimension of the matrix gotten from subset of matrix A where the first column has been removed. We're taking all the rows and we are removing column 1. So there is a quiz for you. Now we take all the rows of matrix A and we remove column 1. We are going to have a 4 by 3 matrix. So let's see. So we have A, all the rows, excludes column 1. So I'm going to just put excludes. So let's say exclude, that is minus here. Yeah, so this is what we should have. All right. So I want to say, take some time to play around this. Indexing is really very important in data science because you may have a data site, you want to work with subset of this data. How do you manage this situation? All right, so I'm going to stop here. In the next lesson is going to be really interesting. How do we import data from Microsoft Excel, from CSV, from Notepad, from text files, from the clipboard? How do we import this data into Excel? So that will be what we are going to be looking at in tutorial 4. So for now, I'd like to thank you for viewing, and I'll recommend you subscribe to my channel, and also feel free to leave me a comment if you have any challenges. Cheers.